Hunter children to do. This year the Queen went one more again from this year Minority Forum at the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland. Well, look here, we got with sister with we put on Campbell, but this year time ain't the one Campbell from We Island, it's the one the Campbell from Costa Rica. Sister Epsy, how are you doing?
Fine, fine. Fighting for the rights of my people in Costa Rica.
Exactly, and that was what I want to talk to you about. Now, you mentioned in the film we got to see today that your people got there through your grandfather building the railroad.
Yes.
So where did he come from to Costa Rica, and then what is the continued battle in Costa Rica now?
My great-grandfather came from Jamaica.
Jamaica.
And my grandmother came from Barbados.
Okay.
All we are Caribbean people in Costa Rica. And we are a minority group of the Caribbean descendant, and I'm involved in politics in my country. I'm just presidential pre-candidate.
I was going to ask about that.
In Costa Rica, fighting not only for the black people, but for a whole society who recognize our rights, identity and cultural rights, fight against racism, fight against sexism, and try to make a new pact, social pact in our country.
Absolutely right. And it's outstanding. So when is your election to be held for the presidency?
The next election is in 2010, and I have to run a lot.
Yes, I'm sure. Campaigning. Well, we definitely are wishing you a great deal of luck with that, because I'm the head of state for the Gullah Geechee Nation. So I know the fight that you have ahead in the campaign, but much less in our global arena of human rights. Now, what made you decide to come to this minority rights forum in particular? There are so many arenas in the United Nations. What made you come to this one?
Because I'm part of a forum, International Black Representative Political Forum. I'm the executive director of the Black Parliament in the Americas, and I work a lot in international arena. And one of the main international point is the political participation as Afro-descendants in the America, Latina, and the Caribbean. That's why I am participating here, and I try to make links with with NGOs, with political parties, with people involved of the political issues in the country.
Right, excellent. And I'm part of the International Human Rights Association for American Minorities, so we need to link up so that we can do more work and not just wait until the third conference like this to meet here again. Okay. But outstanding. Can you give us some words for the Gullah Geechee Nation in Spanish to send home about our culture and human rights?
Atrévanse a participar, tenemos que cambiar este mundo, tenemos que cambiar la sociedad, y nosotros somos fundamentales para ese cambio.
Now tell them what you said in English.
You have to participate.
Yes.
You have to be in to change the rules of the society that we are part.
Exactly. So Hona children, when Hona de yet that means that Hona can the day home and things like that. Hona go and have to get in and do what Hona part for everything, for change, for everybody what they in the world, just not for Hona children. So we thank you. We thank you, Sister Campbell. Yes, I know y'all looking and saying, yeah, she can be one of the Campbells on the Sea Islands too, right? Because we're family all around the world, but we're trying to bring the family closer together through our stand for human rights and definitely for the rights of minority groups around the world. So my sister, bless you in your work. We look to see you again. Hopefully we'll be in Costa Rica one day, shooting you there. And this year the Queen Quet from right here in Geneva, Switzerland at the UN. One more again at the Minority Forum. Peace and blessings.
Now we'll go to Mr. Simon Wooley from England.
Thank you very much. First, I'd like to say that we are in a very special place. Historically, we know why this is special. But also a special space. That space that gives all of us delegates to talk with one another, to share ideas, and to consolidate the global solidarity that will help us reach our shared objectives. But who are we, and why are we here? Well, we're minority voices. Sometimes, but not always, we are minority peoples. More often than not, we are the minority power. But although we're called minorities, we ignore the blinding obvious. That is, that in the last 700 years, global power has been constructed on racial lines. or colour lines. In the Indian subcontinent, the Middle East, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Africa, the Americas, and the Far East, all divided on colour lines. It's important to understand this historical context, because although we no longer have global slavery, colonialism, or Jim Crow racism, we're left with an unwritten racial contract that maintains the status quo. Governments talk about equality, but rarely deliver it. They talk about diversity, but never truly embrace it. Both the majority and the minorities are complicit at times in maintaining the status quo. The majority are complicit because the status quo confers privilege. That privilege is so ingrained, brothers and sisters, that it's no longer seen as privilege, but their right. We minorities unwittingly play our role because we readily accept their definition of inferiority. A very quick example would be that 2 years ago, if anybody was to say that Barack Obama would become vice president, many of us here would have been pleased with that. In fact, somehow grateful. That to me is a symptom of the slave mentality that we still hold. So what is the focus? Well, first we must recognize within our minorities that many of our minorities are not engaged in the politics of power or the politics of governance, but the politics of struggle, the politics of survival. So, those of us, those significant minority within our minorities, the activists, have a special role to play. All of you here must remember this. It's not enough being good or even brilliant. We have to be smart. We have to understand the political arena in which we play. First, let us focus not on the governments, but on our own group, our own individual communities. We need to engage in voter registration. Dr. Martin Luther King taught us that he had more than a dream. He had a plan. And step one of his plan was the political empowerment of African Americans. We must nurture our own talent, bottom up. When we nurture our own talent, we can hold them to account. And unlike career politicians, they won't blow with the wind. They'll represent us as they should. Thirdly, we need to engage in lobbying. We must find political allies with the gender lobby, with the unions, with other political parties who share our dream. We must use the gender discourse. The gender discourse, most countries accept gender. For our communities, the debate about gender has never included women, or includes black women. But we have discourse for race too. Be prepared for a long battle. Be prepared for failing in the short term. But sometimes when you fail, as Reverend Jesse Jackson failed to win the presidential race in 1984 and 1988, sometimes when you fail, you win. You lay the ground for others. And I guess finally in my last 15 seconds, it really is about black solidarity. Your struggle is my struggle is your struggle. Thank you all very much.